Quiet on the set. They still run. It's popping, y'all. Hey. Guys, Cat Fitness. Quasi Financial Literacy.
Hey.
You're listening to KGBC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Quasi Dreams, and your man Cat Fitness.
Oh my goodness.
Hey,
yo,
man, you know, Kenya normally does the bio, right?
She does.
She normally, but I think we got to bring the brother that we have in the studio today. I'm gonna give y'all a little taste, and y'all tell me who we have it. A big taste?
Big taste.
Okay, hold on.
Even if it's little, everything is big because it's all in the line.
Hold on.
What's that?
Hold on. Hey.
Do y'all know who we have in the building today, y'all? Come on.
I'm Big Steppin.
We're Big Steppin in the studio today, y'all.
Man.
Turning all the way
Season
up.
on the way. Season start next week.
Man, that's a little taste. That's going to be our halftime.
That's halftime.
That's halftime. I like how you did that because it's sports reference. You know what I'm saying? Hey, real quick, fun fact. Are you going to intro me still?
No.
I was going to say, fun fact, man. Shout out to the director, Luke, man. He tapped in. He was about to fly me to Japan so we could go shoot the rest of this. But I want to get that out to everybody. So, because I'm an inclusive person, even though the things we do are exclusive, I like to include as many people as possible. This Friday, 6 p.m., I believe it's the last preseason game, if I'm not mistaken. The homie Luke, we are going to be shooting a performance scene for this song. It's an intro to the year for the Warriors. So if you want to be in the video, pull up to Chase in San Francisco at 6 p.m. so you can be in the video with us.
The whole city come out.
Man, that's the goal.
What day? What time?
Friday, October 13th or October 14th, excuse me. 6 p.m. Come pull up. We want you to be involved, man. That's my whole thing. Like, I feel like we get in situations where, like, you know, things could be exclusive, but I feel like what I do best in everything I do, whether it's the music, whether it's the visuals, whether it's the merch, whether it's the juice, whether it's any venture we in.
We're going to talk about all that today.
Yeah, we got to, but it's organized chaos. Even with the fitness, that's what we do, organized chaos. But, man, thank y'all for inviting me on the show.
Man, thank you for coming through.
Man.
You know, we was just talking about this off air. Like, I seen you before the Big Steppin Blue, right? Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things.
He had day one over here.
Come on, man. Shout out to all my day one supporters. If you're on live right now, if you're on watching or listening to the interview, man, I appreciate y'all because it's not the people who are above you that pull you up, it's the people who support you that lift you up. You know what I'm saying? So shout out all the people lifting me up.
So one of the things that I noticed, it was something about you. It was the grind, it was the hustle, it was like the day in, day out. You was going out there. The first video that I seen you was at the Vegan Mob because my boy Toriano.
Shout out to Don Toriano, man. Shout out Fillmore. Shout out Oakland. Shout out the Bay Area.
I was like, cuz got something.
Wait, when was this?
This was at least 2 years. Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago.
It's probably right before the pandemic.
Yeah. He was going in. He was doing these videos. He was doing videos like little commercials. I don't know how y'all. Big commercials.
We're gonna talk about that too. We'll talk about that too.
We're gonna change the vocabulary out here.
Perfect.
We're doing. He was doing these big commercials for Don Toriano, like promoting the Vegan Mob and doing all these skits and everything. I was like, man, he's about to blow.
Man, thank
he's
you,
about
man.
to blow.
Appreciate you,
I started telling my oldest son because he was working up there.
Hey, shout out him. Well. Hey, what's his name again?
Omari.
Shout out Omari, man, behind the scenes. And it's still, hold on, let's get him on live real quick. Yeah. Say what's up to the live, man.
This year, right?
Oh,
no, he just graduated.
Hey, congratulations to all the people graduating from anywhere. Whether it's from preschool all the way to PhD. Shout out to y'all.
So seeing those videos made me start researching, right? Looking into your music, going in, and I started listening to music, and I'm like, okay, cuz is on something. He teaching in the music.
You learn, gotta learn from y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And we're here together.
Yeah. Once I started seeing that, I was like, okay, I respect this hustle.
Thank you.
And ever since then, like, putting my kids on, anybody slapping your music on a daily basis just to get motivated while I'm doing my workouts and everything. It was one of those things that I just knew that you're the evolution of what's happening in this current moment. Music, you know,
generation. And how does that fit? So of course, you still putting in work. I mean, people hear you on the radio every day. We don't even got to try that remix with Pilo and E-40.
Thank you, man.
That don't even sound like a radio song. But
man,
we respect you, respect the work that you're doing. How long had you been putting in work before you got to this point?
Before I start real quick, I want to touch on something he was talking about and just putting in the work and saying the success, man. And then and saying I'm the contemporary version of what has been building up in Bay Area music. At the end of the day, I heard Coach Prime, Deion Sanders say today, you can't have success without successors. So I'm the culmination of what's been built. You know, I feel like the Bay. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. I'm just passing on something that I put up. Yeah, literally. So when it come down to it, you know, I feel like the Bay Area infrastructure can be a lot better, but we are the generation that is a product of, you know, we might not have the best infrastructure, but we haven't lost touch of what the Bay Area does best. And that's our independent push. Feel me? From teaching people like Master P, from having, you know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't be a Master P if it wasn't for the
shout out to Richmond.
Shout out to the Rich, man. I just shout out to I believe his name is K. Lou, man. I went into a studio because somebody booked me for a feature. So I just went in there and chilling. I'm not, when I step into the creative space, I like to get engulfed in it, you know, because once I'm not, I'm moving like this. I don't think I have ADHD, but I think I'm very in the present. So if we talking about this, I'm gonna focus on that. That's why I make sure I take a lot of notes on everything. But we go in the studio and I go knock out the verse, and when I'm leaving, I start looking around and I'm like, Master P, hold on, this person right here, Snoop Dogg. I'm like, wait. And it's like this K. Lou is the dude who was recording all of his Master P stuff when he was in Richmond. I'm looking at platinum plaques, and it's like you sometimes when you see something, you don't understand the magnitude of what it is, but it's like for some reason at no limit, all of that just was right there, and he just was so humble, like it's just what I do, and it goes back into what you were saying, like, man, I seen you doing your thing, and you was doing this, and it was like for me, all I was doing was building habits. Like what I was doing at that time, this was my habit. Of course, I wanted to produce and create money and do all of this, but for me, this was all fun. It's fun for me to get in front of a camera and turn into another character that I created. It's fun to put this music out. We actually got a video. I got a video dropping tomorrow called Fun, because you gotta have fun with this. You talked about
getting exclusive.
Come on, man. Come on. That's why we're here. And then beyond that, I actually just dropped a commercial on my YouTube right now for my merch. It started out as doing Instagram commercials, and then now my team, we actually made a whole horror film production to sell these hoodies right here. Hold on, let me give it. Y'all get the exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Hold on real quick. It's still winning. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. He got the symbol, man.
Where do we pick it up?
Right now on the website. I got a couple in my trunk, so if you bump into me and you're not technological savvy, it's okay, because I'm gonna make sure you find a way. You know what I'm saying? We can grab it right there out the trunk. Small to extra large right now. We're gonna have the bigger sizes later as we build and develop the brand. But we dropped the commercial for that, and we actually made a full production. Shout out my girlfriend Erica Elise for being a producer on that. Shout out the director God's Child. Shout out the person who created this design, Elijah Moore, as well as Houston, the brand clothing. Shout out Kyle Bayardi for being the DP on that. And we made a 2-minute and edited by God's Child. We made a 2-minute and 40-second video that is a whole horror film production. Man. So
like a thriller.
Like a thriller,
modern day thriller.
Exactly. You could go watch it on my YouTube right now, man. But that's the goal. That's the pivot for us. I don't think I answered your question. So
I was just asking how long you been. I mean, you still putting in work right now. So I don't want to take away from what you're doing, what you're talking about. You're a master promoter, I can tell.
Thank you, man. You got to, because at the end of the day, I'm doing what the labels do, but
independently.
Literally,
independently. So you don't got to give up like 20% of your check.
Y'all see it, like, and even with the Big Steppin challenge, I'm doing what the labels do, but the reason why I did that challenge is because I tried to put money into it, and the money didn't do anything for me. So I think it was
like promoting the videos on IG and stuff like that.
Man,
he was like,
it was just a natural, it was just how it was supposed to go. Like I was in LA the first month of the video, and I was trying to pay TikTokers, and either they didn't want to do it, or the TikTokers, a couple people who did. TikTokers did have a couple viral moments on there, but like it was nothing bigger than what I was already doing.
But I think the biggest thing, and what I saw just looking from the outside in, right? You got to connect with the people.
That's the biggest.
You were out there every day,
having fun,
and making it fun for everybody else, making it the new cool thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And with that connection, that's something you can't buy. You can't buy that connection.
No, not
like
at all.
Us being in the moment, feeling that energy is like, I got to really meet cuz.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus, I just saw a TikTok video, it looked cool, and then it kind of fizzles out. You kept it running. You kept that energy behind
We're
it.
gonna go to the
go.
I
I would say Big Steppin's a Bay Area class.
Thank you.
I would honestly,
I appreciate you, man.
I would say, but for people who don't know, you know, that unfortunately there are some people who still haven't heard of Stunnaman. Still,
no, that's okay.
Right? They're gonna hear about him today. But who is Stunnaman? What are you about?
Stunnaman02. Let's break down the name, man. I got the first part of. I was originally Jay Stunna. I had a group called Budget. That was my up and coming group. We made that group because we was living in the hood, San Francisco, Fillmore, Hunters Point. Shout out all the projects and neighborhoods in San Francisco. But we was living in Hunters Point at the time, and we was living in the hood, and we was coming of age. So I don't know how other areas operate. It could be younger, could be older, but you get to a point where if you hanging out with the people in your neighborhood, and it's not necessarily gang, but it's more like, okay,
your set.
Yeah, you feel me? Literally, if you on a set, you feel me? You're going to have to start putting in work. And we got to that age where me and my homies, we started getting to recruited around 11, 12, 13, 12 years old. We made a hard decision and we said, we don't want to do that. Like, that's cool to hang out with y'all. It's cool to go to the parties. We love y'all. We love playing sports with y'all. But we know we want to go to parties and we want to play sports. That was our biggest things. So we made a
separated yourself from the nonsense.
Exactly. While still, but they separated while still being able to intermingle and go into these places. Because a lot of people don't know, while I was living in Hunters Point, I had got a scholarship to Cathedral School for Boys. And that's one of the best middle schools in San Francisco. So while I'm living in what is quote unquote the worst socioeconomic area in San Francisco, I'm going to school in Pacific Heights, where it is other than
nice out there.
It's the hot. It's probably the most wealthiest neighborhood in San Francisco. So it's like I got to see the best of both worlds, and out of this, this character was developed. You know what I'm saying? From my original foundation, which was Jay Stunna, that became Stunnaman02. You know what I'm saying? And you know, a lot of people who've been hip and privy, they know I got that name first from Stunnaman from the Pack, having an interaction with him, and we grew from that. You know what I'm saying? And then putting an 02 on it, not only because it was my favorite number. I used to tell people, oh yeah, the 02, that's the year I hopped off the porch. But I hopped off the porch with a positive mindset, you feel me? Hop out and put in positive energy on there. But it's even coinciding with my rap skills, because all I do is spit is oxygen gas, and that's the chemical symbol for oxygen gas, which is O2. Hey, another exclusive, the Healthy Gas Project. It doesn't have a date, but it will be out in November. Shout out Sky, thank you. Shout out to everybody involved in that, from Clayton Williams to Drum to Ramey to Easy Dress, and feel me. Shout out to everybody a part of that, shooting visuals. We got a whole bunch of more stuff coming from. But you know, like Stunnaman02 is the character I built to live in this world, that on the spectrum of this world, to where I could be and navigate in my neighborhood, but also be in this other neighborhood, which was foreign to where I was from. So you know, so it's loaded.
It's incredible.
It's layered.
Yeah, and I love it. There's so many layers to you, because it keeps. This is just the beginning.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Every time you get to another step in your life, you know it's just another step to a new beginning, right? So seeing your process, another thing that I really noticed, that you were dedicated to self-care, right? And just by, like I said, being a fly on the wall, watching from the inside, from the outside in, it was one of those things that I was looking at. I was like, man, he's promoting juice, right? A lot of other.
I was gonna have some for y'all, but I was so tired. I had to chill.
No worries. We're gonna get it on the next round
for sure.
We're gonna run it back.
We have to.
But what I noticed, I was like, this brother is promoting juice. He got a juice company.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to OT Juice, man.
I'm looking at it, it's like, that's different. You know what I'm saying? So many other people you got people promoting, like, you know, Ciroc and all these alcohol companies that lowers the frequency. That lowers the frequency of our community, right? But you talking, but you're promoting and educating and bringing life to the community, not only in your music, but with the juice and everything else. Like, what made you get to that point saying that, okay, everything that I do is going to be uplifting the community that I grew up in and those that come around me?
So real quick, I just want to shout out Uncle Rudy from United Players, and he said self-preservation is the key to being a player. So it's like at the end of the day,
I have some game today.
Oh yeah, of course, man. I'm just trying to pass along the things that I've learned, so that people don't have to go through the setbacks I may have had, but also you can elevate from the wisdom hey, what's up with it? We out here. You can elevate from the wisdom that I've acquired over these years. But self-preservation is key. I always do the most simplest and well-known parable is the parable of having a pouring water into another person's glass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, filling somebody else's cup. Yeah. If you filling too many other people's cups and you deplete your cup, how will you be able to sustain yourself? Exactly. But another part I've added or I may have heard is that you don't pour into other people's cups until you find your well. So now when you find your well, then you're able to go. If you get depleted, you can just dip it. Take the time to go dip your cup into the well, and now you're full again. And then that even transitions to something bigger, because once you find your well, you have wellness. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like you find your well. We all have. There's illness out there, but what combats illness? Wellness. If you always constantly cycling through your wellness and you have your equilibrium balance, which is your mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, psychological, moral, and financial intact to what you need to do, and not me, not Cat Fitness, not Brother Quest, right?
Quessy,
not Brother Quessy, feel me? Not their equilibrium balance, but your equilibrium balance. What you need to do to stay on point, your wellness will always be good, and now your self-preservation and be in a place where you can give and you're gonna always win, even in your worst states. If you strive to be great,
the big thing is, right? Where did you get to a point where you found yours?
Man,
because right now the energy, if y'all go with us right now, this brother is vibrating at a whole.
Come on, man. Hey, energy is currency.
Yeah, the frequency is crazy, and I'm loving it because sometimes you can't find people to match that kind of frequency.
Thank you, man. Right? I'm with a couple stars, and now we just made a constellation. Come on,
create a new universe.
Come on, man.
So right now, like, what was it that got you to that point in life that allowed you to recognize this within yourself?
Of course, the culmination of the people who raised me, my mom, my grandma, the big homies, everybody from the neighborhood, just interactions. But it was when I was about 12 years old, I had hit a hard point in my life. I didn't know it at the time, but this was
hard at 12.
Hard at 12. It was like, we hadn't been through so much, living in I lived on the corner house of the project, so it wasn't directly connected, but we on the same block as the whole neighborhood on Page Street, Hayden Webster, right across diagonal from Two Jacks. RIP Two Jacks, one of the greatest black-owned businesses. But living in there, going from hearing gunshots, roaches, people selling drugs on your in front of the house, all the stuff. But like that wasn't the hard part. The hard part was what I was going through up here, and I had hit a roadblock because I was struggling with chronic eczema, which was another reason why I made my juice. And it started to get to me because this is the age I'm starting to like girls. The girls are telling me I look like a monster.
Wow.
And then I'm sitting in this about this spectrum of being in the hood while going to this private school. So I'm not with my friends in the neighborhood like I used to be, because we used to go to school. I used to go to John Muir, which was up the street from the house I lived in Fillmore. So it's like I'll be kicking it with the kids who I went to school with. So we with each other every day. So a lot of this time I was by myself. And then it's, mentally I was going like this, but being here by myself, it allowed me to say having that alone time, which I feel like alone time is you can have alone time, but don't allow that to make you lonely. And it's like being at that point in my life, it allowed me to discover what do I really want out of my life. So I started prioritizing, telling myself, which my mom was already doing every day, how great of a person I am, even if I didn't feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Or telling myself, okay, what do I want to look like? What's my swag? What's my sauce? So I was like, man, I'm finna get waves. And somebody teach me, shout out my Uncle Ernest, he taught me how to get waves, the discipline of getting waves. Waves is a culmination of that do-rag and that do-rag brushing. And he taught me how to get waves by using your hands. So I was in the shower, putting the soap on, literally, just long as you got that technique. And he's like, man, make sure you do the back first, because that's the area we overlook. A lot of times we're going to do the top already, but you got to do the back too. So I was like, man, I want the 360 waves while I'm working out.
That honeycomb.
Yeah, exactly. You feel me? Exactly. Then I'm in Hunters Point, and that was the place where at the time in San Francisco, if you've been in Hunters Point, that's one of the neighborhoods that has the most sunshine. So that's the thing that helped me out. So I was just going outside every day, working out, playing some type of sport. I liked basketball at the time I was doing that. And then I was telling myself how great I am. Come home and hit my push-ups. My mom bought me weights the year before. That's what I wanted for Christmas. I'm lifting weights in there at 11 or 12. Then eventually, after doing that for a year, by the time I got 13, I stepped into my own. My mind was strong. My body was strong. Being outside, interacting.
Finding yourself.
Found myself. Yeah. So
you got a great memory.
Thank you, man. I just remember that because it was a turning point in my life. Because I remember I started getting popular and I started liking girls. And I was like, man, the girl's not liking me. What's wrong with me? I don't smell as best as I can.
You know what's interesting? At that point in my life, like 13, 14, 15, you know, I feel as men, we go through a certain transition, right? Mm-hmm. Like internally.
Yeah.
And the conscious starts to awaken, right? And if you don't know how to address that, you could suppress it, right? Mm-hmm. And at that age, that's when I start suppressing it because I didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to. I didn't have my parents to talk to about it and everything. So that's when I started to drink, I started to smoke and suppress myself to a lower frequency.
Yeah.
So because what I was feeling at that time was almost scary.
Mm-hmm. You know it was,
like, what's going on with all these thoughts? Why am I having all these thoughts within myself, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like now this next generation and generations to come, they're able to identify that and able to glow and understand and magnify. So that's why when they talk about this being the awakening age, you know what I'm saying? Like people are really waking up because we're allowed to have these conversations now that we weren't having before.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's the dope part because it's like now where I went through this by myself, I ended up going to college and I majored in psychology for anybody who was possibly going through this. So it's like almost as if this awakening time where I was going through it in recent years, now it's like when somebody was that age, that adolescent age, that coming of age age where it's like you going through puberty and whatnot, you can be open and be like, man, I'm confused about this. Can somebody help me? You know what I'm saying? And now you don't get looked down upon, or now you don't have to cling to what is the cool or what is cool. You can be yourself, and now that's cool.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And speaking of which, like obviously, would you identify yourself as a rapper or a musician, or what's your type?
Me, I would say like I'm just I love putting a rapper before it, but definitely an artist. I would just say like a free thinker. Like I feel me. I would just say like somebody that's like, I don't want to sound arrogant, but like a god in a way.
Absolutely.
A king. You know what I'm saying? And just like, you know, because I just been able to do everything, but in the music space, I'm definitely a rapper.
Absolutely.
Like, prioritize it.
I love what you're saying. I love the way you're talking because for anybody that's listening, whether that's live at ach.show on Instagram or listening to us KGPC 96.9, they can definitely tell that you deep.
Thank you, man.
You got some thoughts on you,
man.
And I appreciate that. We're gonna flex some of the things out throughout this conversation. Let me ask you this: like, obviously, nobody gets anywhere they're going by themselves. So, who are some of the mentors, whether dead or alive? People you met in person or not in person, but who are some people who helped shape you into who you are today?
Man, that's I will have like we will be here for the whole interview.
Maybe top three.
Top three. Right now, of course, my team. Like I feel like that's the people who help me because I learn from them the whole day. So every day. So shout out Still Winning, man. I appreciate everybody on Still Winning. The list is going so long. I'm talking about Still Winning affiliates. I'm talking about everybody who has helped the movement. I think like just in terms of like. I'm trying to think like just in terms of like just mentors.
Yeah, and I mean it could be artists, it could be people who like maybe careers you followed or like just people that in real life who may not get the love or the recognition.
Can I do categories?
Absolutely.
So for me, one of my favorite mentors is the everyday person. And when I say by that is that's the dude in the neighborhood or that person that mom or that sister, that auntie in the neighborhood to where it's like they just might stop you and give you a hug or embrace you. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of those for me. Like I would literally be saying the whole interview, like that mom that came to the game, you know what I'm saying? Or that dad that said, hey man, when you do your push-ups, do like that. Or like just recently I went back to my mom's house and we in the neighborhood I grew up and this dude, you feel me? People might look at him as, he drinks and everything and they might look at him as different, but it's like he wake up and go to work every day. He raised all his kids and he got super game. And it's like people don't even know he's literally solid. But me having this conversation and opening my mind to having a conversation with him, not only did I find out his name is of Arabic origin, but this person who you might look at different speaks several different languages and has a whole encyclopedia game. So that everyday person who might not be in the limelight, that goes above and beyond that's somebody who's my mentor, because I might just get stopped by them on a day when I'm walking around, and they just might tell me something that I need to hear. And that's that universal alignment that keep me going.
Give you that confirmation on something that you've been talking to,
literally,
to the high,
literally. And and of course God staying prayed up, but it's God gotta be prayed up. I think my second one is rappers who act. So any rapper you see acting, because I make music and that's my nucleus, but really I got into entertainment, and I watch more music than I watch more movies than I've listened to music. So it's like that's my biggest thing. So it's like,
what kind of movies you watch?
Like anything, like
gangster flicks or like
anything with first.
I would say comedies. I would go with comedies. I would say this brother just following you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course the humor, because that's a trauma response. That's how we cope with life. Gotta have that humor. But the first and top is movies with black people in it. Movies, you know what I'm saying? That's my top one. Because at the end of the day, like, I know the propaganda, and I know what type of tools and systems are used to make us feel empathetic about people that may have wronged us here. And I feel like one way through it is through media. And it's like through media we're made to forget what has really been happening in the last 400, 500 years in America, beyond longer than that. Jesus. And it's like I talk about that dude I saw this weekend, but I would not have known why he told me an Arabic name and started speaking Spanish had I not known that the Islamic State ran Spain for 800 years. And it's like, why hasn't there been a movie made about that?
Because they don't want us to know our origins.
So, I'm big on like movies with black people in them, series of black people. And then my funniest genre that I make is when I'm not watching stuff about black people in it. And it's like, I love all people of color, melanated people. There we go. No people of color, because that's a false nomenclature right there. You feel me? But it's really melanated. I love all my melanated folks. But my new thing is like, I'll watch a show like Game of Thrones. I'm like, I love this.
That's like the new Game of Thrones?
I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna wait. Yeah, my lady been watching it, but feel me, I'm gonna wait. It looks very good. But I'm gonna wait. But I'll watch something like that and I'll be like, damn, what if they had this but with black people? And I'm like, oh, this is going crazy. So it's like, people like
so you're saying Stunnaman02 is gonna create a black Game of Thrones?
Man, I would love to.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, here on the 5th of the aughts. And it's go in there and have fun. This is my brother's cousin who here come to fight me from now. That'll be fun though. You know what I'm saying? We already got the character Nigel Standards and all of that.
Nigel, man. Well, how did you come up with Nigel?
Watching Crank Yankers, and they had a character
Crank Yankers.
Called a character. My mom. My mom was a young parent who she wasn't there all the time, so I'll come home and my grandma be at work or something like that, and I'll be putting anything on the TV and just be watching. I was absorbing everything, goodness. So I was like, and it was a character called Nigel Standish. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh yes, hello. And he just used to say the most out of pocket stuff, but in a like kind of that accent. So when I went to London and I did the accent to them, they was hella mad. They was like, it's not bad. It's just it's a posh accent. You feel me? Like I was like, damn. So it's like it's an old throwback, But Jordan Peele is a person who's opening up a lane for black people to create in, because it's not like there's not black people in anime. It's not like there's not black people who like sci-fi. That's why we made this horror thriller. Shout out to everybody who's a part of that production, because it's not black people who like that type of stuff. Black people love Criminal Minds, but where's our representation? You know what I'm saying? Or black people love what's another type of black people love rom-coms. But it's like, where's our representation in that?
Animes, all that kind of stuff.
Literally, there's like, where's
kids love that stuff.
Man, everybody really loves it, but where's the representation? Because gatekeeping is one thing, but it's like the biggest question I have to ask is, why does everybody have access to our culture, but as soon as we step into another genre, we get ridiculed and everything? Why is Chloe Haley, I think that's her name, doing Chloe Bailey, there you go. She's doing an amazing job at being a mermaid, and see how great her voice is and how good she looks on camera.
Got all that kickback.
Yeah, like about a fictional character. Nobody said nothing when I appreciate them not saying nothing about Brandy, but when Cinderella had that mix the Brandy version had that mixed combination with Whitney Houston as the mom, and it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, why are we focusing? If it's something like that, and you have all these melanated people, and you have representation everywhere.
Right. You remember Gaza Egypt?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
When they had like the white people playing like the Gaza Egypt,
and it didn't make any sense.
How it went back that movie 100,000%.
Nobody, because it goes back to media and like this representation, but also it's technically propaganda if you're not technically telling the truth about what's going on, or at least
they're making everybody believe their truth.
Exactly, and that's unfortunate.
The programming that they want us to have,
and that's why I'd be like, my top influence of going back to my mentorship is when it comes to these movies. I prioritize watching black movies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just love it.
So real quick, I was gonna say real quick, if you could throw out top 5 black rappers that influenced you to be the rapper you are today, and top 5 comedians.
Most Def, just by their movements, and I might not know every lyric, but just how they carry themselves. Yeah. Most Def, Ice Cube, definitely E-40, definitely Too Short, and definitely, I might say even contemporary rappers, all black. I really got probably like a top 50. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I probably left a lot of people off the list that have influence, but it's like a lot of people. 50 Cent, oh my God! Like I remember, I used to write.
I'm surprised because you from the city.
Yeah,
you didn't say Queen.
Man, I wasn't up on Quinn till I grew up more.
Messy and you know what I'm saying.
But I'm from the city, but my whole family is from the East Coast and from the South.
Okay,
so it's
where on the East Coast?
My mom's side of the family. They all from Rhode Island. So then,
Rhode Island?
Yeah, Rhode Island, the smallest state in the country. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So they all from Rhode Island. And then later than that, our last name is Gomes. This is a family name. So they're Cape Verdean. So it's like, that's a whole different thing. So when I go out there, I'm like the darkest person in the family in terms of my melanin. Yeah. So it's like, that's a whole, and they embrace me and they love me. And they be like, oh, what's up? But that's one thing. And then that influences we got cousins in New York and Boston and just that whole area. So when I'm over here, it's like I'm listening to what my mom is listening to, or that influence. Yeah. And then my dad, who I just reconnected with last year, he from South Carolina. So when I go out there, everybody look just like me. Yeah. And it just be like, oh yeah. I mean, I call my cousins, I got a girl cousin, I call her my twin because she literally like she could be my sister. Yeah. And with the same age.
Same features.
Literally, like I'm like, yo,
strong.
She got locks. I'm like, yeah, like same skin complexion, everything. You put us next to each other. I think we looked at a baby picture and I was like, yo, like you really look like you're me. Yeah. And it's like it was kind of wild or something like that. Yeah. So shout out them. But I got a lot of East Coast influence, and that's not just in the music, it's the morals too. Because in the Bay Area, even though we dope and we very, I feel like if we compare ourselves to the industry culture in LA, we're a lot more authentic. But in terms of the morals of the Bay, one of the things I see here is that we try to take more than we give, and that doesn't align with the universe.
In the Bay?
Yeah, I think so. And I only see that because I'll go to the East Coast and I'm like, wow, this is pretty, like, you feel me? The morals here are different. Even in the Midwest or in the South, like, you got people leaving it, maybe not in the big cities, but you got people leaving their doors open, and it's like this sense of community. And I don't think the Bay was always like this, but I think gentrification really destroyed our sense of community.
Yeah, stories from back in the day. My family's been here since like the early 90s. I mean, like 1930s, right? And a lot of them transitioned from the South. So from Texas, Houston, Louisiana.
Literally.
So they brought that energy to the Bay. And then they were able to step into a more free self because they weren't able to build like they wanted to in the South.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that over the years, I think, changed once the drugs and the crime hit, and like the
mass incarceration,
exactly,
all of this. I mean, it's like the Bay. Oh, I want to give a quick shout out to San Quentin since you brought his name up, because I definitely, he is a big influence for me, like huge influence. He's from the same neighborhood. Shout out all the people who helped be pioneering of what rap is now in the city. Because without them, we wouldn't be here. Yeah. But what you said was hella dope, because it was the first time that Black people maybe had time to have independence.
Exactly.
And that's why in the Bay you see this strong independence. But it might be our fault as well, because the reason why all these other regions are winning in terms of entertainment is because they have that infrastructure.
Yeah.
Atlanta is winning like how it's winning is because they're literally going like this. Come on, brothers.
Yeah, they're filling each other
You know what I'm
up.
saying? And they really saying, like, you go watch Lil Baby's career. Lil Baby is able to be the biggest rap star right now because, yeah, he started rapping recently, but at the end of the day, his career is built on the infrastructure that has happened over 30 years.
Let's pause it right there. Like, Stunnaman, you are hot right now.
Thank you, man.
Is it Stunnaman or Stunnaman02?
Stunnaman, I prefer Stunnaman02, but just to pay homage to the people that came before me.
Yes,
and then you can't forget the oxygen gas. Come on, of course, that's what we spitting.
And the O2 juice. We're gonna talk about that in the second half. So real quick, you're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. We got Cat Fitness, Quessy Dreams, Kenya Ace, AK Ruby Envy, and Stunnaman02 in the building. We got an entire second half lined up. Stay tuned on the live at ach.show on Instagram. And we got our mid-show artists coming up. Come back for the second half. We're going to bring it to you live.
Let's get it. Shout out to everybody that hopped on, showing so much love. Oh, this is fun.
Yeah. Come on.
Man, we in the flow state.
Come on.
We got to come back to part 2.
You got to have a part 2. I was going to say, we're going to do a shot.
Yeah, we got to
do a shot. Yeah, of course.
We're going to do a shot.
How much time we got?
This song, we got 2:30.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Say wave to all these people on live. Thank you to everybody that's buying badges. Y'all real. Hey, this is a dynasty. This is not a. Hey,
man. See what Draymond and
but the thing is, whoever leaked that, I mean, of course, everybody can take accountability in that, but whoever leaked that is a real, like, kind of like.
Yeah, they wanted division within. Yeah,
because stuff like that
happens all the time. All sports, all levels of sports.
I like how
Draymond in-house.
Yeah, you know all families fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Literally. It's a thing I call proximity clause, where, you know, like, crime is committed by people. The most crime is committed against everybody's own race. So it's like, if you look up the most murders, Black on Black crime. Or you look up the most crime in anything.
Yeah, somebody's community. Chinese are going to do the most crimes on Chinese. Black are going to do the most.
And that's just because those are the people you're around all the time. You know what I'm saying? So when you're going to fight with your family because you're around them all the time. So I think people try to, and I'm happy that this got blown over so quickly because it wasn't as big as a deal as made it seem. It was drama. It was definitely clickbait, but at the same time, you know, Draymond took accountability. Feel me? They back and they cool. And it's like, this is what happens. Now, I feel like something like this, you want some tension like this, or you want to see this aggressiveness because you're like, oh, they're about to bring this into the city, into the season. So it's like, and then one of Draymond Green's things he said in his podcast was, he's like, I knew Jordan Poole was going to be a star when he was able to talk how he talked to these superstars and still back it up with his game. So, you know, I've never seen Draymond do anything like that, so I wouldn't say it's in his character. But we got it. If Jordan Poole is going to be our future and one of our superstars could take it there with him and they be cool, man, we got a lot of positive things coming from that.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm
coming back.
Yeah.
15 seconds.
Yeah, they need to get on Draymond Nuts stuff. No, it's all joke. Keep it. That was crazy though. It's pretty funny. I like your shoes.
Oh, man.
I like yours too. Fresh.
Yo. So we are officially back in the studio. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Cat Fitness, Quessy Dreams, Ruby Envy, and special guest Stunnaman02 in the building. We had an incredible first half. This is going to be an even better second half. Second half, best half.
Let's do it. I'm a second half player. Come on.
Oh, man. We know.
Man, we got something. if y'all haven't listened to the first half, y'all got to go back and listen to the entire first half because Stunna was dropping jewels throughout this entire episode.
Yes.
But we're gonna take the energy to the next level, y'all.
Let's do it. I love it.
How we gonna do it?
This mine right here.
Yeah, that's yours right there. We're gonna take a shot to start off this next episode.
What is this?
What kind of shot?
So okay.
What kind of shot?
So this is Rejuvenate. This is our elderberry blast sea moss that is infused with elderberry, sea moss, and ginger.
What?
Exclusive.
What Lil John used to say? What? Okay.
The 92 minerals that your body needs are antioxidants. Come on, we're gonna elevate real quick.
Y'all want to toast first? Y'all want to toast?
Oh, yeah.
Toast.
Come on, toast.
Hey, this E-40 taught me this one. I'm not above you. I'm not below you. I'm right next to you. Come on, man. Hey, 3 kings right there. We might as well go pull up on
wisdom,
Jesus.
knowledge, and love.
Very wise, man.
That's a new batch.
It tastes like pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie.
Sweet potato pie?
That's the texture. The texture.
Yeah, I like this one.
So have you had sea moss before?
Of course, man. About 2 years ago, I used to buy some. Shout out to I think her name is Holistic Creations. I know her real name. Shout out to Brittany Donaldson. She used to make this dope sea moss. We made a collab drink for a while. Always figuring out how to make one with my O2 juice. And I used to wake up and do it every morning, and then put it on my skin, everything. You know what I'm saying? So
I was about to say your skin has changed in the last 2 years.
Oh, it had to, man. Like, man, I had to crack the code because in actuality, man, when you're dealing with skin ailments, I deal with chronic eczema, and I was told by the doctor, I think I was in high school or in college, and I had a real bad outbreak of my eczema, so much so it was one of the reasons why the first time I dropped out of college, and I had to go to a doctor. I had to get UV light treatment where I sit in like this, it seemed like a chamber. I'm gonna get one of those in my house though. Now I'm gonna keep it real, but like I sat in there and they would literally put UV, and that taught me the properties of the sun though, and how important vitamin D is, and how as when you have melanin, you might not be getting as much access to as much vitamin D you need. So to live in sunny places is very imperative to the people who have melanin. But dealing with a chronic issue, you feel me? I have to find the ways to balance myself so that my skin can look better. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like I don't go through it.
So besides your skin, I want to know, and can you share with our viewers, because for you to be on the frequency that you are, I feel that you have certain things as a foundation. And I know by following you on social media, you work out on a daily basis.
That's it. I gotta go get my workout in right after this.
Yeah. So what does that look like? What does that regimen look like for you when it comes to mind, body, and spirit? And why does it play such an important part in your journey right now?
Thank you for that question. So, I always start everything with the equilibrium balance. My equilibrium is my foundation, basically. And that's the mental, the physical, the spiritual, the emotional, psychological, the moral, and the financial. I put the mental first because the mind controls all. I put the financial last because, we all love money. But if I got the money first, what's the reason to go do everything? You know what I'm saying? So, So I make sure, usually as soon as I wake up, I'm praying. You feel me? I'm praying because I know everything I can't do, God could do for me. So as soon as my day start, or the God in the universe could do for me. And that's me putting what I want in the universe out there. But beyond that, that's God saying, okay, you want to go do this? I'm going to put you in the directions of where you need to go. And we was talking about the universal alignment. I think that's what we named in this episode. So, and then I think that's what we talking about.
I like that.
The universal alignment, man. It's like when something doesn't work out for me how I want to in life, or it doesn't work out for where I'm at, I'm learning not to stress it so much, because usually God reminds me literally right after that, or it's like, because how you said, I'll put it in my life. We was talking about how we knew each other and you tapped in, but it wasn't now until 2 years later that we locked in.
Come on.
So it's like, for me as an artist, it might be like, 2-3 years ago, I was tapping in with this artist to get a verse or to do a show or anything, or to have some interaction. But maybe for me in my career, that might have not been the right time, because I might have put that song out and it might have fallen on deaf ears because I was building a platform, or I was becoming a better artist. So it's like, now artists that may be giving me features, or we may be working with now together, it's better to do it now, because I'm in a place to where, had that artist made a song with me, people would only know me for that song that I made with that artist.
So you have been standing on your own too.
Exactly. And that's where it goes into equilibrium, self-preservation. Everything goes back into the foundation. So, my foundation usually today I slept in because I was exhausted. But that goes.
What is sleeping in? What time you wake up? You sleeping?
Anywhere between like 8. I really got up like at 11:30 today. Like today was like
you slept in.
Yeah, I slept in because like I've been going on when I haven't had a day off. I went to Hawaii. I haven't taken a day off since I got back from Hawaii.
You look like you climbed a mountain.
I did. Shout out to Coco Head Coco Crater or Coco Head, man. And shout out to that mountain. I want to flex real quick because I was asking people like, how long it take you to get up there? They was like, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what did you see at the top of the mountain?
Oh man, it was something. It was indescribable. But if I was to put it in symbol and words, I saw complete bliss. That was the feeling I could say. And the reason why is, I'm going to tell you why. So I was asking people how long it takes you to get up there. Some people was like, oh, it took me an hour. And I was asking people asking people who ran up it like frequently.
1,000 stairs.
Yeah, 1,000 stairs. I think it was 1,200. And I was like, how long does it take you to get up there? They were like, oh, I'll try to do it in under 20 minutes. I was like, okay. So
1,000 stairs?
1,000 stairs.
You gotta
1,000
see it.
steps. It's epic. So I was like, okay, we're going to see. So then, as soon as I get there, I take off, and I'm walking. I'm doing a like a kind of rotation of running, 10-second break, walk,
like sprinting.
Yeah, like I'm talking about. I'm sprinting up these stairs so much so my lady, she's behind us, and she's asking people. She told me this after. She was like, "Did you see my friends going up there?" And then she was like, they were like, "Yeah, the dude that was running up the stairs," and then the other dudes with their shirt off because my folks went with me. Shout out Trainer, shout out the homie from the hood, Javon. Man, we had hella fun, man. But so I'm like, man, I'm gonna try to just finish this as fast as I can. And the day before, I had watched the David Goggins video. David Goggins, they look like your cousin. They like your cousin. You know what I'm saying? So he like, man, and I got him in the back of my head. So I end up finishing this trek of stairs that people say takes an hour, or they try to finish in under 20 minutes. I end up finishing it in under 12 minutes.
Wow.
So I went up there and I absorbed it up, and I went to the top after I walked, and it was 12:30, but I had made it up there probably a minute and a half before that. Yeah. So it didn't take me that long at all, and I was really proud of that because I pushed myself. I'm talking about calves burning. I'm talking about for the next week and a half, my legs
locked up.
Oh my God, it was pain. Like my body was cramping for a while after that, but I did it. And when I got up there, I was at true exhaustion to where my lungs burned, to where my body was hurting.
Wow.
But
what motivated you to push yourself that hard?
Man,
you just want to get to the top.
For me, it's a new challenge because, like, when you're making music and you're in entertainment, like, it's not really a secret. Like, I've been doing Big Steppin for 469 days today, and it's like sometimes.
Congratulations!
Thank you, man. And it's like sometimes when you're consistent, it gets boring. Yeah. So it's like you gotta find these new challenges to wake your game up, and that was the challenge to let me.
Real right there.
That was the confirmation. Yep, and we gotta chop that up in a clip. Post that, but that was the confirmation from the universe to let me know, and then that's a high to me, like the high off life, to put myself.
And it shows you there's new levels to it.
New levels for sure, because it's like it put me in a place to where I was exhausted, and then when you're exhausted, you get lightheaded. Yeah. And you feel kind of high, so. Not only am I lightheaded because of that, I'm at a high because altitude-wise, I just climbed to the top of this mountain. Yeah. And then on top of all of that, it's just a high of seeing all of Hawaii and the neighboring islands, kind of, or what you can see from the eye. You get to see the full spectrum of it. Yeah. So I'm soaking all of this in. My eyes is big, and I'm trying to get some air, and I'm sweating like all down my face. And I'm just like, wow, this is like true bliss. Like this is like heaven on earth. And this is without any drugs. This was without my dopamine, my serotonin, everything was at a high level. This is without, money. This is like really like, it was true. Like, it's hard to put into words. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true wealth.
Literally true wealth, true wellness. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, I said that to you oppositely because, you're the wellness person. I said true wealth. And I was like, true wellness, you feel me? But because you feel me, we all balance each other out, but I feel like I'm an articulate person.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard to put that experience into words. It's like one of the things you just got to experience.
Yeah.
So I encourage everybody to get up that mountain as fast as you can and go as hard as you can. So when you get up there, you're exhausted and you can be open and vulnerable to receiving.
Yeah, probably. So let's talk about this, because you touched on the physical wealth, the physical wellness, right? Mm-hmm. You mentioned equilibrium, you put finance at the end, but it's still in there.
No, for sure. I need to learn from you. Come on, man. I'll write that on my list.
No, I want to ask you though, right? Yeah. Obviously, you are a rapper, right? Mm-hmm. So people have that perception on the outside of rappers and rap money and all those things. But financially speaking, like, what are you looking to do? So I mean, from the outside looking in, it looks like you made it. Like,
of course.
You got a song with E-40 on the radio, like it's blowing up, getting hella spins, right? So what does that look like now in this phase of your journey, and what you want to do next, just financially speaking?
Yeah, to me, just to be transparent, I'm doing well enough to do things that I want to do. Me and my lady, we've been able to travel like 10 times in the past year. We've been able to go out the country. We just went to Hawaii twice, but it's not like the money is. I'm not like at the house swimming on money. You feel me? I still let go. You know what I'm saying? I still
not Scrooge McDuck.
Exactly. No. Not yet. But it's coming though, and that's why we're gonna line up the business ventures that allow.
I feel like it's here.
Nah, it is here. You're right. It's here right now.
High vibration vocabulary. It is here. It is here because everything that you're doing is aligning with everything that you're saying, allowing all the abundance of financial resources to just flow to you. Mm-hmm. And I see that with everything you do, even with the brand still winning.
Yeah, thank you.
Right? Because everything that you do is like, okay, was it you and Gunna that was talking about being billionaires?
Gunna.
Mm-hmm. We always talk about that.
Yeah. So I was listening to y'all talk about, back in the day, it was just millions.
Yeah.
Y'all passed that already.
Now we billions.
You know what I'm saying? But what does it look like to run $1 billion, I won't say corporation, but organization?
Remember, right? She said, I'm not a businessman.
Man, I'm a businessman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all the things that you're doing right now is in preparation of that $1 billion organization that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All the things, the clothing brand, the music, all the different
fitness,
come on,
the acting.
Yeah.
And so if I was to simplify it, it's building systems.
Yeah.
And the real epiphany I had was when I did Summer Jam. And then
I was there.
Hey, thank you for pulling up, man. I appreciate that, man. You was there in spirit.
Yeah.
So for me, it was understanding what infrastructure meant. And on that day, I learned why Stunnaman02 is going to be a mega million or a mega star. And I learned why and what in the Bay Area that we need to elevate. So just physically, my dressing room and where we were put at was right next door to Roddy Ricch. Mm-hmm. We had like a merch, like we sold merch there. And when they sent us the merch list, there was only 2 names on the list. Yeah. And it was Roddy Ricch and Stunnaman02. Mm-hmm. And then I ended up performing 2 more times after my set, but I went.
You came back out.
I had to.
Yeah, I seen you come back out on it.
You know what I'm saying? I love performing. That was energy for me. But it was like I performed right before Roddy Ricch went, and then I was sitting there and then looking at all these, signs coming through. Yeah. That was 3 things to me that spoke out, and I was like, "What is the difference between me right now and Roddy Ricch?" And I was like, It was like, of course we different artists, so subjectively that don't matter. But I was like, why is he here and I'm here? And I'm like, oh, he has the infrastructure. And that's literally what it is. So right now I can say all these opportunities coming is like all I'm doing right now is building the infrastructure so we can field it and build it. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, simply. And then right there, the number becomes priceless because the possibility to create currency, not just financial or not just money, but like energy and relationship. I would say you was right there with me. So exactly, and that's what always make it is just making sure I got the foundation, to where I have an accountant that makes sure the money is being spent wisely, or taking a certain percentage for investment and paying bills and paying taxes and creating wealth. And literally, so that's what we figuring out right now, not just with myself, but my team. I want to shout out Tamisha Javon Breeze Miller Church. She's one of the best accountants that I know in the United States. She happens to be like my sister. So she stepped on in my team as a mentor. And she literally is teaching my team financial literacy right now. So we have a meeting like every other week. We have a dope meeting, and she said, whenever you're ready for me, I will be basically your accountant. I'm like, wow, like that means a lot, because I need to learn how to manage money. There's 7 aspects of managing money. I don't know all of them off the top of the head, but I know you have to value it, manage it, invest it, save it, flip it, all this other stuff. It's where it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'll show it to y'all later. But it's like you need to learn how to do that, and that's one thing I feel like we not taught how to do. So right now in this
purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So right now in this stage, I would say I'm doing well, but I'm learning how to do better, and then learning how to do better, I'm learning that I don't know everything, and I'm being open-minded to figuring it out and learning things. Like you might tell me one thing today, and then you tell me one thing,
change the whole game.
Literally to take that billion to trillions.
And that's so important. Like there was an article that just came out that said that black spending power reached $1.6 trillion, right? And I don't know if y'all understand, $1 trillion is 999 billion, and then another billion.
Oh,
right? That's 1 trillion. We're at 1.6 trillion. Our net worth collectively dropped 14%. Right, so that means we're spending more money, and we're not saving any of it. We're not investing in it. We're not buying businesses. So the things you're talking about, that's revolutionary. I respect that.
And I love listening to brothers like you, people like from the Earn Your Leisure podcast, seeing different
You're
people.
Gonna get on there.
Come on, it's coming. And literally, I was watching Russell on there.
Russell,
man, going crazy.
He had a dope ass concert too.
Man, I was about to say that was something I was going to ask you about, right? Because you, LaRussell, Simba, like
it's a lot of people.
But I could see y'all just the other day. I was like, man,
JR bands.
When are they gonna do a tour?
Man, you're
right.
My
goodness,
man.
Like,
I need to get on. I need to get on them about that. Yeah. I think right now what we doing is we are doing our own respective things, and I feel like
like the Avengers.
Exactly. You got to do your own thing, but at the right time, we're gonna have our Mount Westmore, and it's like I know I can't. I'm not going to speak for them because I know they got their own stuff going on. Only thing I can speak for is Stunnaman02.
Yeah.
And I would say Stunnaman02, me as a brand and me just as a person, I have some work I need to do before we start doing stuff like
collaboration.
Because I don't want it to, they're doing so well. I don't want it to be a thing where it's like, oh man, Stunna is only benefiting from them or anything like that. I'm removed from my ego, so I don't think like that. Yeah. I want it to be a situation where it's like, wow, they came together and they went crazy. Come on, man. So right now it's coming. I'm finna step it up for y'all.
It's here.
It's here. It's here.
And let me ask you this for the hype beats. Yeah, of course. For the hype beats that are tapped into our show, who are gonna listen to the rebroadcast, tap into us live. I would say you're famous.
Thank you.
Right? I would say that, right?
Yeah,
like seeing you do things that's my question, right? So like, what would you consider yourself famous? And what comes with that? That other aspiring artists listening to this, looking up to you as a mentor, as an idol, what should they be on the lookout for as they pursue their path?
As much as I try to not say it, it's a reality. The same way with my team, I try to not say I'm a boss, but it's a reality. So it's like, I realized it about 3 or 4 months ago. I had a situation, and I was just, it wasn't necessarily negative, but it was eye-opening. And it was like we performed for these kids at Bayview Academy, and this wasn't the negative part. The negative part came this weekend when it was like an interaction I had, and I was like, yo, that was kind of weird, and I was like, oh, okay, I get why that happened. But the kids, the positive one about that was the kids, they just embraced me. They was rushing me like, it was like, oh my God, and I was like, whoa. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, oh, I am at this level.
Like Steph Curry.
So it is a blessing and a curse, but it's not nothing I'm not primed for. My mom been telling me this since I was like 4 years old. She been telling me everything that I have now. So it's like I'm not intoxicated by the moment. I'm just learning how to navigate it. And I'm learning, like, whereas before, spending all this alone time with myself to go do these things, learning to be like, okay, I may not be able to go everywhere by myself. And it's not because I don't want to or anything like that. It's just not in my best interest. I got to make sure I'm protected. Yeah, we got to have your team. And then what was the second part of that question?
Oh, well, I was just asking what comes along with that for people who are looking up to you. Like, what should they prepare for?
You should be prepared to, every time you step out in the public light, to always, even if you don't feel like it, have to be your best. And I say that we look at the brother Devontae Adams, and it's like he's a dope player, and it's like him being upset one moment made him look bad. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even.
It was a bad loss.
And what we should really be taking into consideration is how is his mental health in a situation to where he feel like he know that we don't think he's human, and he got upset and had a reaction, and it's like he shouldn't be penalized.
But I was about to say that's one of the things when you get to a certain level, people forget that you're human.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that you have emotions, that you could have been having a bad day or a bad moment. No telling what he was going through.
He be going, the criticism, all this stuff amounts to you, especially when you are a great player like him, and you've been showing out since you got to the league. But then on the other end of the spectrum, not to put him down, but it's like when you get in situations, emotional regulation is important because it's a lot of
intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out DB.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But it's huge. But when it's like it's a lot of people whose careers are over because of one moment that probably took 5 seconds. You know, it's like you don't work this hard to get to this level.
Smith.
Yeah, Will
Smith. It ain't over, but it's never gonna be the same.
It's not over for sure. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you know, like his next movie, they saying he got to play a slave, and it's like he ain't had to play a slave his whole career, and now his next role he has to play a slave, you know, to earn that back up. So so it's like
it's cold.
The game is cold, you know. That's the role he get in. So I don't know what's going on with that. All I'm saying is, you know, you got to be very mentally prepared for this because you're gonna have doubt. There's gonna be moments where you think you're not gonna make it. There's gonna be moments where you hit rock bottom. Everybody goes through it, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, but it's like
what you do during that adversity.
Literally. And you got to understand that everything is temporary, ups and the downs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And one moment you might be low, you might be sad. I listened to a lot of LaRussell interviews where he said just a year ago I was in my bed crying, depressed, and it's like people look at him and it's like this. People
He made it.
They're comparing him to J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar in the contemporary
I would
time.
too.
So it's like
I would too.
So it's like you got to think. You see this brother's story and how well he's doing. It's like that's you too, and it's just like Jamal Crawford said it. He was like, "Don't let the highs get too high. Don't let the lows get too low. Just kind of go through it." And that's what consistency is.
On that balance.
And then Jim Jones just said it. You stay consistent. If you ever get bored or you lose your passion or your motivation, just stay consistent because you'll re-find it. And that's all I've learned that directly through the Big Steppin challenge, our Big Steppin02 challenge. Because anytime where I wasn't getting the love that I was getting a week ago, or I wasn't getting the love that I was, people wasn't saying like, oh, this. People tell me all the time through this thing like, oh yeah, Big Steppin is washed, or Big Steppin is an old song, or it isn't timeless. I was even on Twitter talking to a dude about that, and it went from him saying the Big Steppin 49er song was they shouldn't use that anymore to this is a wash song, and it literally them using it at the NFC Championship game to the 49ers themselves last week on their last win when they just beat the Carolina Panthers. Their social media team posting the song. So it's just like one of them situations where you got to get out the critic. You got to let the critics critique and then let them be
wrong. That's what they do.
Literally.
That's what they literally get paid to critique. And they mama basement on somebody else.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you just got to keep pushing.
Stunnaman02, we really appreciate you coming through, blessing us today. You really brought your best, your A game.
Thank
we
you,
can
man.
see you're a professional. You're a professional. You're not just a rapper. You're a human being.
Thank you.
We really respect that about you. But
you a god.
I say, like, recognize, like. So we got to wrap this thing up for today. This has been another incredible episode of the Anything Can Happen show with Cat Fitness, Questy Dreams, Ruby Envy. We had Stunnaman02 in the building today. Make sure you like, comment, follow, subscribe at ach.show on Instagram. That's at ach.show on Instagram. Make sure you tune in, support KGPC 96.9 FM. We bring it to you live. We got a lot more on the way. Stay tuned. We'll talk to you soon.
And go follow me, Stunnaman02, on all platforms, all streaming. Make sure you listen to my last album or last project. It's Big, produced by Oakland's very own Drew Banger. Man, that's on all platforms, man. Come find me. Come holler at me. Come to a show. Buy some merch. Buy some juice. And most importantly, continue to be your best self. Do me that favor and have a beautiful life. And beyond that, don't forget, we still winning.
We're still winning. Anything can happen, Stunnaman02.
Hey. Thank you, man. That was fun. I feel natural. I like coming to things and I'm not saying like, damn, when is this gonna be over? I'm saying I'm enjoying it.
Is that on camera?
Yeah.
He said he don't want to
5 seconds.
Man, y'all gotta get out of here. Follow Anything Can Happen show at ach.show.
Ooh, I gotta go get this workout in.
We got one last thing before we let you go.
Drop
just a drop.
And then we done.
Yep.
Let's do it. I'm gonna tell her. Let me tell this lady. I'm gonna call her at 4 or 4.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So the drop is just, hey, this is Stunnaman02. You're tuned into the Anything Can Happen show. Today we're talking about universal alignment.
Okay, let me do this real quick. Let me text her.